Hello and welcome to your English news broadcast live on ERi-TV. It's exactly 10:30 p.m. on Eritrea's local Greenwich from our headquarters at Asmara with your domestic and international news in brief. I'm Zahra Badouri. But first we'll begin with your major headlines for this broadcast. An announcement from the Ministry of Health. World Food Day and International Day for Eradication of Poverty commemorated. India to allow foreign tourists after 19 months as it relaxes COVID-related restrictions. China sends its first solar exploration satellite into space. Welcome to your domestic in brief. 3 patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19 in tests carried out today at quarantine centers and testing stations in the central region. Out of these, 1 patient is from quarantine centers and 2 patients are from testing stations in Asmara Central region. Accordingly, the total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 6,767. The total number of recovered patients to date stands at 6,676. While the number of deaths stands at 44. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 15th October 2021. World Food Day and International Day for the Eradication of Poverty was commemorated today, 15th of October, at the premises of the Ministry of Agriculture under the theme, Our Actions Are Our Future. At the event in which ministers, representatives of UN institutions in Eritrea, as well as exemplary farmers took part, Mr. Arafai Berhe, Minister of Agriculture, said that as Eritrea is found in the Sahel region, lack of water is the main limiting factor for food production, and that the number one priority of the government is to implement soil and water conservation programs, both and off-farm. Accordingly, Minister Arafai went on to say that in the past 30 years, the government of Eritrea has constructed numerous dams of various sizes, mainly for eradication, and has made substantial investment for expanding modified rain-fed agriculture and spade irrigation in the eastern and western lowlands. Minister Arafai also said that with a view to increase production and productivity, the government is assisting smallholders, farmers, as well as small and medium-scale commercial farmers through introduction of highly yielding varieties, pressurized irrigation technologies, renewable energy, plastic tunnels or small greenhouses, and mechanization to produce not only primary products but also value-added ones. Speaking at the event, Mr. Said Bankay, FAO representative in Eritrea, said that at the 42nd session of the FAO conference that was held in June of this year, member state endorsed the new FAO strategic framework 2022 and 2031, setting out the organization's roadmap to support the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development through the transformation of more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable agro-food systems for better production, better nutrition, a better environment, and a better life, leaving no one behind. The UNDP resident representative in Eritrea, Mr. James Wakagon, his part stated that reducing poverty and addressing food insecurity are key policy areas for any government in the process of building forward. Better commanded the government of Eritrea's commitment of addressing food and nutrition security to enhance socio-economic development and social justice, which are key cornerstones of Eritrea's development agenda. At the 76th General Assembly of the United Nations held on 14th October, Eritrea was re-elected to serve in the United Nations Human Rights Council for the period of 2022 and 2024. In a statement, the Eritrean embassy at the United Nations released on the occasion said that Eritrea is a country that emerged out of a long and difficult struggle for human rights, and that non-discrimination, equality, inclusion, peace, justice, freedom, and ensuring respect for human rights and human dignity are key values underpinning the Eritrean society. Eritrea remains valiant and steadfast in its effort to implement all civil, cultural, economic, political, and social rights for all its citizens, and aspires to be a humanist and a development nation where the full potential of its entire people, including women and children, is realized with strong national unity and cohesion, sustained economic growth, and social justice, and statement added. The statement retaliated that during its current membership in the Human Rights Council, Eritrea has made a modest contribution to ensuring an efficient and effective council. Significantly, it has been working with members of the council and border membership of the UN for the principal implementation of the UN human rights declarations, action plans, conventions, and resolutions. The statement went on to say that Eritrea extends its deepest gratitude and appreciation for the African Union for endorsing and endorsed Eritrea's candidature for the Human Rights Council, and to the member state if the UN for their genuine consideration and valuable support of the country's candidacy. On your final, domestic nationals residing in various cities of northern and central Sweden are conducting seminars focused on strengthening organizational capacity for national organizations and associations. At the seminars that are underway since 21st September, Mr. Sirak Bahlibi, head of the Public and Community Affairs, and Mr. Isaias Gabrai, head of the Consular Affairs at the Embassy of Eritrea in Sweden, gave extensive briefings on the objective situation in the homeland and called on the Eritrean communities and national organizations to strengthen participation in the national affairs. Participants on their part stated that the seminar have created a discussion and awareness-raising forums to nationals, called for the sustainability of the seminars that are essential in prompting unity and nationals and strengthening of national and public organizations. Do stay with us for more with your global reports after this short break. And on your global reports, starting Friday, the country will grant tourist visas to travelers arriving on chartered flights in India. The facility will be extended to those arriving on commercial flights from 15th of November. Foreign tourists who land in India on Friday will be the first to come into the country in 19 months. No tourist visas have been issued since March 2020. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government shut the country's border to rein in the coronavirus pandemic. In the past few months, though some visas for diplomats and foreign business officials have been reinstated, the decision to allow foreign tourists announced earlier this month comes at a time when India's daily corona cases and COVID cases have been falling. The country has been recording about 20,000 daily positive infections, down from a peak of 400,000 daily cases during a devastating second wave that swept India in April and May. More than 70% of the population has received one dose of the vaccine. However, experts and government officials continue to warn against compliances, saying that popular tourist destinations could act as COVID super spreaders of a third wave of infections, which they say is inevitable. According to government data, India attracted just 2.74 million foreign tourists last year, down from 10.93 million in 2019 as the pandemic unended lives and businesses. Where tourism contributes almost 7% of India's GDP and is also responsible for millions of jobs and the hospitality sector, the government said in an official release that all due protocols and norms relating to the COVID-19 as notified by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare from time to time shall be adhered to by the foreign tourists, carries bringing them into India and all other stakeholders at landing stations. However, the authorities are yet to spell out the testing, vaccination, and quarantine rules for travelers. On your final report, China sends its first solar exploration satellite in space from the Taiwan Satellite Launch Center in northern China, Shanxi province, at 1851 Thursday, Beijing time. The satellite was launched aboard a Long March 2D rocket and entered its planned orbit successfully, said the China National Space Administration. The satellite, which will conduct the first space exploration of solar HA spectra imaging, is expected to improve China's research ability in solar exploration. Solicited from the public, the name of the satellite, She, is the goddess of the sun who created the calendar in ancient Chinese mythology. Also among the rocket's payload were 10 small satellites, including an experimental satellite for orbital atmospheric density detection and a commercial meteorological detection constellation experimental satellite. It was the 39th flight mission of the Long March carrier rocket series. Dear viewers, that is all for now with your domestic and international news in brief. Until we are back with some more news, stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. But until then, these were your major headlines for this broadcast. An announcement from the Ministry of Health. Eritrea's re-election to the United Nations Human Rights Council. India to allow foreign tourists after 19 months as it relaxes COVID-related restrictions. China sends its first solar exploration satellite into space. That is all for now. Thanks for watching once more and have a nice one.